Parasite cleanses are everywhere on the internet right now, aren't they? And I have to be honest with you, most of the women doing them are getting sicker, not better. In this episode, I'm going to tell you why, what I wish I had known before my own cleanse, and the actual order of operations that allows parasite work to do what it's supposed to do without wrecking your body in the process. If you've ever bought a cleanse kit off a wellness influencer and ended up bedridden, or if you've been wondering whether a parasite cleanse is your next right step, I want you to stay with me. By the end of our time together, you'll know whether you're actually ready for one, what has to be true in your body first, and the one question I want to ask you before you swallow a single capsule. If you're tired of chasing symptoms, drowning in conflicting health advice, and wondering why nothing seems to be working, but want to find the root causes of your symptoms and a clear, faith based path forward, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Sarah Phillipe, wife, former registered nurse, and root cause practitioner. After years of chronic illness and unanswered questions, I discovered how to find the root causes of my symptoms and heal from the root while staying rooted in Christ. If you're ready to stop guessing, understand what's really causing your symptoms, and pursue healing while keeping Christ at the center, grab your coffee and let's get started. Before we get into this one, I want to make sure that you have the resource I'm going to keep pointing you back to all season, my free toxic load assessment. It helps you see the inputs that are quietly keeping your body in survival mode, and it will tell you which of your foundations needs your attention first so that you're not guessing. You can grab it at sarahphillipe.com or through the link in the show notes. And if today's episode is going to spare even one woman from doing what I did, would you please do me a favor and share it? Send it to a friend who just bought a parasite cleanse off Instagram. Hit follow so the rest of the season lands in your feed automatically, and let's get into it. Oh man, right now, if you open Instagram or TikTok or any wellness corner of the internet, you can't escape it. Pictures of jars, stories of look what came out of me, affiliate links, discount codes, befores and afters, bold claims about how every single one of us has a parasite and how if we would just do this one cleanse, everything from our brain fog to our acne to our anxiety to our autoimmune disease would finally lift. And I understand the appeal. I really do. Because when you've been sick for a really long time, when you've tried everything and nothing has worked, the idea that there might be one hidden culprit you haven't addressed yet is intoxicating. I've been that woman. I've clicked that link. I have done that cleanse. And I want to have a really honest conversation with you today because the parasite cleanse industry is making a lot of money right now, and a lot of women I love are getting hurt in the process. Welcome back to Faith Filled Healing. I'm Sarah Phillipe, and today we are talking about the truth about parasite cleanses. Let me just start by saying this clearly because I don't want anyone to misunderstand me. Parasites are indeed real. Parasites are, in fact, common. And parasites are absolutely a piece of the chronic illness puzzle for a lot of women. And conventional medicine has historically been dismissive about this in a way that has left many of us undiagnosed and dismissed for so many years. If you've wondered whether parasites might actually be playing a role in your symptoms, you're not crazy. You're not extreme. You're not buying into a fad. There is real science underneath this conversation. What I want to do today is not talk you out of addressing parasites. What I want to do is talk you into addressing them in a way that actually works. Because the way most women are being told to do this on the internet right now is, in my clinical experience, one of the fastest ways to make a sick woman sicker. There is a huge difference between acknowledging that parasites matter and grabbing a bottle off Amazon and white knuckling your way through a 30-day kill protocol. One is wisdom, the other is harm, dressed up in wellness language. Here's the part that nobody is putting in the captions. A parasite is, by definition, something living inside you. When you kill something living inside of you, your body has to escort the dead organisms, their toxins, and the inflammatory byproducts of all that die off out of your system. Through your bowels, which are the bottom of the drainage funnel, and the very first exit that has to be open through your liver and bile, through your kidneys, through your lymph, through your skin, even possibly. Those are your drainage pathways, and we talked about them back in episode 6. If those pathways are sluggish, and in almost every chronically ill woman I see, they are, then the die off has nowhere to go. It backs up, it recirculates, it gets reabsorbed. And the woman who started the cleanse hoping to feel much better ends up with debilitating headaches, rashes she has never had before, brain fog that doubles, fatigue that flattens her, mood crashes, panic, insomnia, joint pain, and a level of inflammation she's never experienced in her life. And then she does what we all do. She blames her body. She decides her body is broken, that she is too toxic, that she must have so many parasites the cleanse can barely keep up. So she doubles down. She buys the next kit. She goes harder. And every round makes it worse because she is solving the wrong problem. The problem was never that she didn't kill enough parasites. The problem is that her body had no way to get them out. I want to tell you about my own experience with this because I have lived the lesson I am about to teach you. Years ago, when I was deep in my own healing journey and desperate for answers, I did a parasite cleanse the way most women on the internet are being told to do one. I bought the kit, I followed the protocol, I trusted that someone smarter than me had thought through all of the safety pieces, and I got hit hard. The symptoms I had been working so hard to calm down came roaring back. New symptoms showed up. I felt poisoned in my own body because in many ways I was. I was killing things faster than my body could clear them, and the toxins were recirculating. And the wildest part is, I almost did exactly what I just described. I almost blamed my body. I almost decided I needed to go harder. Thankfully, by the grace of God, and by the slow education I was getting along the way, I figured out what was actually happening before I made it worse. And I stopped. And I went back and supported my drainage. I supported my liver. I supported my gut lining. I gave my nervous system months to settle down. And only then, when my body was actually ready, did I revisit any kind of parasite work. And that time, it did what it was supposed to do. There may have been times where it was a little uncomfortable, but it was productive, not destructive. The cleanse didn't fail me the first time. The order failed me. And I hear this story from the women coming to me in my practice every single week. So let me give you the actual order of operations because I don't ever want to name a problem without giving you a path. Before you ever touch a parasite cleanse, 4 things have to be true. First, your drainage pathways have to be open. You need to be having at minimum 1 complete, well-formed bowel movement every single day. Ideally 2 to 3 times a day. Because the bowels are the bottom of the drainage funnel and the exit, everything else drains toward. From there, your bile needs to be moving. Your kidneys need to be well hydrated and supported. Your lymph should be moving. You need to be sweating. And if any of those are off, you're not ready. Second, your nervous system has to be in a place where it can tolerate stress. If you are already living in fight or flight, asking your body to also manage die-off is going to push it over a cliff. Third, your gut lining needs some attention. A leaky gut barrier means that anything killed in the gut can pass right into your bloodstream and trigger a system-wide inflammatory response. And fourth, your minerals need to be supported. Detox is mineral-intensive work, and a depleted body cannot do it well. Drainage, nervous system, gut, minerals. Those are the 4 foundations, and the parasite conversation lives downstream of all of them, not upstream. And when you do parasite work in that order with those foundations in place, it can absolutely be transformative. It's just not the place we start. And I want to take this 1 layer deeper because there is a spiritual version of this same pattern. And I think a lot of us have lived it. We try to cleanse our lives the same way we try to cleanse our bodies. We hear a sermon, we read a book, we go to a conference, we come home ready to kill off everything that doesn't belong, the bad habit, the relationship, the mindset, the season that we're in. We declare fast. We rip something out by the roots. And then we wonder why 3 weeks later, we're more nervous, We're more anxious, more reactive, more depleted than when we started. Because we tried to do deliverance work in a body and a soul that had no foundation under it. Jesus himself in Matthew 12 tells a sobering parable about a house that gets swept clean and put in order. And because nothing was put in the place of what was driven out, what came back was worse than the original. Cleansing without foundation creates an empty house. And empty houses don't stay empty. They get refilled, sometimes by the very thing you were trying to get free of, and sometimes by something worse. The Lord is not in a hurry. He builds before he cleanses. He establishes before he prunes. He brings you into safe pasture before he asks you to lay down what no longer belongs. We can trust his order in our spirits the same way we have to trust his order in our bodies. Here's what I want you to do this week. I don't want you to start a cleanse. I don't want you to buy a kit. If you're in the middle of one and you are feeling worse, I want you to give yourself full permission to pause. Not to quit forever, pause. And I want you to ask one honest question of yourself. Are my drainage pathways open right now? Am I having at least one daily bowel movement, ideally 2 to 3? Am I drinking enough water? Am I sweating? Am I sleeping? Is my nervous system somewhere close to regulated? If the honest answer to most of those is no, then you have your next real step, and it's not a parasite cleanse. It's foundation work. And foundation work is the most loving thing that you can do for the body God gave you to steward. If this episode shifted something in you, please do me a favor. Share it with one woman who is about to start a cleanse or who is currently feeling wrecked by one. This is the conversation almost no one is having out loud, and your share might be the thing that spares her months of suffering. Then go grab the Toxic Load Assessment at sarahphillipe.com or through the link in the show notes so that you know exactly which foundation to start with. And next week, we're going to start moving into the second pillar of healing, the gut. Specifically, we are going to talk about leaky gut symptoms that almost no one is connecting to the actual root causes. If you've been told your bloating, your skin, your anxiety, or your autoimmunity are unrelated issues, next week's conversation is going to change the way you see your own body. I cannot wait to share it with you. Until then, remember, your body's not the enemy, and your healing has an order. Walk it gently. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. If today's episode encouraged you, would you share it with another woman who feels overwhelmed by conflicting health advice and is looking for a faith-based path forward? And if you haven't already, would you please leave a review? It helps more women find the show and encourages me to know that these conversations are making a difference. Now go enjoy your coffee, spend some time with Jesus, and remember, you don't have to figure it all out today. Just take the next faithful step. I'll meet you right back here next week for another episode of Faith-Filled Healing. Until then, keep healing from the root while staying rooted in Christ.